However, I was able to find people who had near-death experiences. And so I was like, well, that's the best way to, to start my research. So it happened actually that in my early 20s, a good childhood friend of mine passed away, and that really hit me very hard because, he was a baby when I was 3 years old, and they were really close friends of my family. And it just hit me really hard that somebody could pass away so fast, so tragically. And it really made me sort of explore that pre-birth experience. And I was thinking, well, okay, I was very skeptical, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to approach this really scientific, and I'm going to do research, and I'm going to find data on it. And then I'm not just going to read woo-woo books, but I'm really going to look at the whole picture. And I started exploring near-death experiences and reading everything I could get on near-death experiences and all of that. At the time also, I was in a place where I felt really lost. So I was, my early 20s, felt really lost. I was studying art history in Germany. It was okay. It was fun, but it was kind of like, is this really what I'm meant to do? This doesn't feel it doesn't really resonate. And I see other people being really passionate about what they were doing, whether it was in their, studies or in their careers or even just in their hobbies. And I couldn't find that kind of passion. So I was kind of like lost. And as a result of it, kind of indulged in a lot of really unhealthy habits. One of them being, an alcohol and party habit that I had at the time. And at one point, I had a really awful relationship at the time, and it was just really bad. And the night sort of ended up at the steps of a church where I was just crying so much and thinking, this can't possibly be the reason why I'm here. And so all of that accumulated, all that like darkness that I was feeling and experiencing, I was always brought back to this pre-birth experience. And I was like, okay, I can either continue this dark path, or I can actually really take, be courageous and explore this against, my background, my agnostic background, or the background that, this isn't really accepted. This is all just woo-woo stuff. So I started actually really studying it. And that's what got me on. I was doing a PhD in art history, and I stopped that, and I started looking into doctorates and PhDs that would help me understand this from a scientific standpoint too, because I said, well, if there's data around it, or even just anecdotal data, even just, qualitative data, meaning stories about this or people who've experienced it, and it all links up and there's similar themes, then there's something to it. And if those similar themes linked my pre-birth experience, then this was something real, and I really needed that for myself.